see? What exciting adventures will we choose?
Hello
Hi.
everyone,
It's Susan,
and Darren.
and I told you he was back.
That's right, I spent the weekend at a provincial shooting match and I came in second. So for that moment in time, I was the second best shooter in the province of Alberta. For those of our friends on the south side of the line, that would be the same as one of your state championships.
That's fantastic, but it's all coming to an end for a while because
Friday, very early in the morning,
we are heading to Florida to start our 6-month epic journey.
that's right. So away we go, and we're bringing you with us, of course.
Unfortunately, today we didn't have a lot of time to create a good video for you, but fortunately,
We have a video from the lecture on one of our Hawaiian cruises, and those lectures were really good on that ship.
they're fairly long, so bear with us. It's very interesting information about Hawaii.
A very good afternoon, everybody. Aloha!
Aloha!
How are we doing? We're feeling a little bit rocky today, don't we? Look, I promise you, if you're feeling a little bit rocky, just drink more, you'll end up walking straight. But you're just practicing for the hula, aren't you? That's what we're going for here. No, but welcome to the theatre. It feels weird coming in the afternoon and chatting to each and every one of you here. But we've got 32 days together, a lot of sea days. So make sure you pace yourself. Don't go all out too quickly for these sea days. And we are proud here on board the Sapphire Princess to bring you not only some great entertainment in the theatre, but a lot of enrichment, a lot of knowledge. Knowledge is so much better than the coasters and the wine stoppers that we give out. So make sure that you come to any of our destination talks or our naturalists as we have today. And we're very fortunate to have this special, lovely lady on board who's going to be telling you so many interesting facts. You're going to be lost in the world of adventure. She really embraces the spirit of aloha here on board, and she actually lives on top of a volcano. How cool is that? It's unbelievable. So make sure you do listen carefully. She said she is available to answer questions afterwards down at the front there for you. So make sure you stick around if you have any questions to ask her at all. But I know you're going to absolutely love it and have a great time just here. So please welcome your naturalist, Sharron Faff.
Good afternoon. There we go. My name is Sharron Faff. I will be with you the whole cruise. I will be doing a talk or lecture, however you want to call it, every sea day, basically. I am from Hawaii, as he said, and I have lived in Hawaii 40 years. And I was a National Park Ranger for Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Thank you. I loved being a National Park Ranger. It was a wonderful experience in my life. Late in my life, actually. Yeah. Oh, I don't usually say that. And I am very excited about taking you along to all these different islands that we're going to be going to. It is a very exciting cruise. I have done it a number of times, and every time I learn more and I see more and I enjoy it more. So I look forward to sharing a lot of information with you. Not only am I here, but we also have the ambassadors on board, which is Miley and Tui. I don't know if they're in here now. They have so many other things that they're doing. But they are the Hawaiian ambassadors here, Miley and Tui. And they'll be doing the hula lessons and the ukulele lessons and the Hawaiian music in the atrium and lei making and so much more. They're a wonderful couple, and they will be here also for the whole cruise as far as I know. But I do want to encourage you to attend most of, if not all, of the destination talks about the actual islands that we'll be visiting, and also the naturalist talks, which I'll be doing. I'll be doing also the destination talks for the South Pacific Islands, all the ones that we're going to visit there. And what'll happen is you'll learn a lot about the islands, about how they're made, about where they come from, about the people who live there, and it'll give you a foundation so that when you actually get there and you visit them, that you have some kind of already a knowledge of where you're going and who you're talking to. Every island is a different society. Every island is a little different, so you have to be real flexible, let's say, as we go through the islands, because they live differently than we do, than most of us do. Okay, so it's being okay with how they live and what they do and how they get along. Okay, so we're on the Sapphire Princess. Is anybody on a different ship? Sapphire Princess, oh good, okay. We're on the Hawaii and the South Pacific 32-day round trip LA cruise. We're going to visit 4 sets of islands, the Hawaiian Islands up at the top here. And they are the most remote place in the world, by the way, folks. I don't know if you realize that you're getting the farthest you could possibly get away from whatever you left behind. Yes, yeah. And then we're going to go to the Samoan Islands, okay, both American Samoa and the Western Samoa, the country of Samoa. And we're going to Fiji. We're going to Fiji. We're going to one particular island in Fiji, but we're going to make 2 different port stops on that island. And then we're going to French Polynesia, where we'll go to Papeete, Tahiti, the island of Tahiti, and the capital is Papeete, and Moorea. Beautiful, gorgeous, every one of them are spectacular islands, spectacular places to go. And the Hawaiian Islands are going to be our first stop. This is a picture of the Hawaiian Island chain, part of it. Okay, we'll go into depth about the Hawaiian Islands before we get there. But as you see, a lot of the islands is underwater because the water is about 18,000 feet deep around the Hawaiian Islands. Okay? And we'll talk about it. Well, what happened here? How did this happen? That's a talk for tomorrow. But this gives you a little idea of the different places we're going to be going. We're only going to make 2 stops in Hawaii. One is on Oahu, which is where Honolulu is, and where Pearl Harbor is, where Waikiki is, and of course, Diamond Head is there also. And our second stop will be in Kauai. Kauai, we're going to come into Nauwili, and with the waterfalls, incredible waterfalls. Actually, we have waterfalls on every island in Hawaii, except one. And Waimea Canyon is in Kauai, beautiful canyon. And of course, beaches on every island. Beautiful beaches, black sand beaches, red sand beaches, green sand beaches, and of course, your white coral sand beaches too, okay? You're gonna find them all there. You're gonna find everything there. Hawaii is an amazing place. Has a lot of different people that live there from different nationalities that tend to get along pretty doggone well, pretty well. Better than a lot of other places in the world, without question. But you know, everybody has a dream to go to Hawaii. How many people have been to Hawaii? How many people have not been to Hawaii? Okay, well, the few of you that raised your hand that have not been to Hawaii, just notice how many have been and are going back. Because once you go, it's like, well, I'm gonna go again. And again, and again. I think I'll go, we're gonna go again. Yep, we're gonna go again. So it's a very popular place, and it is very beautiful. Who became probably our first ambassador was Mark Twain. Way back in 1866, he came to see the eruption that was happening on the big island of Hawaii. He had to take a buggy up to the top of the volcano. He stayed in this little wooden building that is still there. It's now an art gallery. And that was the first hotel in the state of Hawaii. It wasn't even a state then, it was a territory. However, it was the only place where people could stay, anywhere, on any of the islands, okay? They actually had to stay on their ship that they came on at night and get off for the days if they wanted to visit. Other than that, there weren't very many places at all to stay. But he came to see the eruption going. He fell in love with Hawaii and he started writing articles, okay? Well, it's those articles that went to New York and London and San Francisco and Tokyo. Those articles went all over the world. And that's when started people coming to Hawaii. So he's basically our first ambassador. And now we have all of you, because you're going to talk about Hawaii too when you get home. You're going to do all kinds of things regarding Hawaii. He said it was the loveliest little fleet of islands that is anchored in any sea. Famous saying from him, and he's right. He's right. I have been to many, many islands, and I live on the big island of Hawaii. And why do people come? They come for the stunning sunsets and sunrises. They come for the beautiful beaches with a clear, clear turquoise water. Beautiful beaches on every island. They come for the waterfalls. We have waterfalls on every island, at least the ones you're going to be on. And there's some you can even have fun in. You can swim in the waterfalls, yeah. And we have, of course, the volcanoes. Now, the volcanoes are on the Big Island. The active volcanoes are on the Big Island of Hawaii. I'll talk about those a little bit throughout the cruise, because they are the foundation of all the islands that we're going to be visiting are volcanoes, okay? Or a connection to a volcano in some way. Gardens, we have amazing botanical gardens on every island. So for sure, on the 2 islands that you're going to be on, beautiful botanical gardens, and a variety of them, okay? We have stunning vistas. This is on the island of Oahu, and it's where you go from one side of the island up the mountain or the hill, and then off to the other side, which is beautiful, also incredible views up there on the pali. Pali means cliff. So this is where you will be standing and looking out over just amazing things that happen. And of course they come for the hula and culture. How many are going to take hula lessons? Come on. Oh, come on. How many have brought their ukulele, their ukulele? Oh, they all must be playing the ukulele. There we go. Well, I know a lot of you will be. It's one of the most popular things is to learn how to do the hula, and we have people, Miley and Tui will get you involved in that. And of course we have colorful fish, the snorkeling and the fishing and the being out on the ocean, watching the dolphins and the whales is like wonderful to do. So we have colorful fish. The one on your left is our state fish. Anybody know the name? Oh, very good. Yes. So now you can all say it. Let's say it real slow. Humu, humu,
Nuku, nuku, apua.
pua, ah. Okay, good. See, now you can speak Hawaiian. And that means fish with a nose like a pig. Yep. Or you can just call it colorful fish, it's really up to you. We have amazingly clear atmosphere around the Hawaiian Islands. It is the clearest air in the world in a populated area. We have no real industry, except for you guys. We have no real industry in Hawaii. So our clouds and our skies and our night skies are spectacular. Spectacular at night. Really beautiful. But really what's at the base of Hawaii, and we're going to find this actually in all the islands we visit, but it's very, very strong and very prevalent in the Hawaiian Islands, and that is the aloha spirit that is wrapped around everything in regards to Hawaii, okay? And if you break it down, the alo means sharing or in the present, oha means affection or joy, and ha is your breath, that's your life. You cannot have life without your breath. So aloha, we'll put those all together and it really is joyfully sharing life together. And that's what they love to do, that's who they are. They're very, very personable. They're very happy to help you in any place that you go in Hawaii, with where to find the best restaurant, where to, if you're lost, how to find your way out of where you lost. And of course, we all kind of move at a very slower pace. You'll find this in all the islands. So it's maybe gonna take a little bit to slow down a little bit and be a little more patient in these islands because they are. So if you want to fit in, the best way to do that is relax. Just relax. The Hawaiian lei is a circle of peace. It is a very, very used thing in Hawaii for acknowledging people, for letting people know that you love them, that they have accomplished something, like they've graduated from school or they became a pilot or whatever, okay, or birthday or anniversary. We use lei for basically everything to acknowledge people. The famous flower is not from Hawaii, but it grows very well in Hawaii, and that's the plumeria, and it has a wonderful smell. And so in a lot of places that we'll go to, the plumeria are in bloom, and the whole air just smells sweet, very lovely. There's all kinds of lei. This is a very popular lei. The haku lei is a head lei. A lot of people that are getting married, which we have a lot of people getting married in Hawaii, the ladies like to wear a haku lei on their head. It can be made from all kinds of things. The lei originally were made from what was found in the forests, okay, because we didn't have a lot of flowers when people came. Very few flowers. Now we have a lot of flowers, all kinds of flowers, but there are many ways that you can make a lei. It can be made with paper, it can be made with candy, it can be made with ribbon. They're making ribbon leis here on the ship, and eventually they'll also make flower leis. We will pick up flowers in Honolulu, and there will be some fresh flower lei making going on also. But also special occasions, like when anyone comes to Hawaii of note, and that includes you. Leis are very popular to give people. So of course, when Amelia Earhart came, she was the first person to fly solo across the Pacific. She was smothered in lei. The kids graduating from high school or college, they'll have leis right up to their eyes, so they can't hardly see from all their relatives, because everybody's kind of related to everybody else in Hawaii. Amazing. And of course, one of the major people who brought the islands together was King Kamehameha. And on his birthday, his statue, of course, is covered in lei. Those leis are over 30 to 40 feet long, and they take a long time, and it takes a cherry picker to put them up on top of the statue. That's in front of the Iolani Palace, which is someplace that you might want to visit while you're in town. It is very close to where we're going to be docking, which right now, as far as I know, will be at the Aloha Tower, which is a fabulous place to be docked. That's where we used to dock. There's going to be 2 ships in port on that Honolulu. So we're going to be at the Aloha Tower, and that's been there. It used to be the tallest building in Honolulu, but not anymore. And of course, the woman is Queen Liliuokalani. She also is acknowledged on her birthday with lots and lots of lei. A very important person to Hawaii was the Duke Namanoku, and he brought surfing to the world, basically, because he loved to surf. Now, he also was a swimmer. He won the gold medal in the Olympics in the 20s, a long time ago. It was very unusual for someone from Hawaii to even participate in the Olympics. And he won the gold medal for swimming, a couple of gold medals. He also is acknowledged on his birthday. The statue is here at Waikiki, and the surfers really appreciate him and everything that he brought to the surfing for people, because there are many, many thousands of people now that surf. It has become even an Olympic sport now. But he is very, very popular. He was an ambassador to Hawaii for years, traveled the world talking about Hawaii. Even the horses, the horses were laid too. Yes, whenever we have any parades, all the islands are represented by what they call a princess from the island, and dressed in the color of the island. Every island has a different color, it has a different flower that is synonymous with that island. Okay? And so the horses have lei, and the pa'u riders, that's what they're called, pa'u riders. We have a lot of ranches in Hawaii. You may not know that. We have cattle ranches, we have sheep ranches, we have a lot of different kind of animals we've tried over the years. Cattle seem to be the ones that the most prolific, or the ones that are still there, and you can get fresh beef in some of the restaurants that it's from grown right there, grass-fed beef there. Very wonderful. But even the dogs, the dogs wear lei too, and sunglasses. Yeah. Now, when the first mammals, let's say that came to Hawaii were the sea creatures, such as the seals. We have the monk seals, which are only found in Hawaii. They've been there for thousands of years, and they are now giving birth. It's springtime, so you may see, if you get to some of the beaches on the North Shore, or even in Waikiki, yes, once in a while a mom will bring and give birth right on the beach, usually farther away from the crowds, but you have to be very careful, do not bother them. And of course, the sea turtles, we have many. And whale season is just at the end. You may see some whales there, but the humpback whales, but they're kind of heading back. Now it's April, they're heading back to Alaska, because we have no food for them in Hawaii, even though they migrate down from Alaska, and they spend about 6 months in Hawaii, with the migration being in Hawaii, giving birth, mating, and then going back to Alaska. They don't eat because we don't have food for them. But they have lots of food in Alaska, and that's where they bulk up. So we have the monk seals, the sea turtles, you'll see them, and we have the plants, of course, and the birds. We have lots of native birds, mostly in the higher forests. So if you want to, if you're a birder, you're going to need to go take some trips up into the woods a little farther. Okay. The nene are our state bird, and they are, a offspring from the Canadian goose. They're much smaller. They are much quieter, and they don't poop as much. But before man came, all of these creatures that I just talked about, and all of these plants and birds, that's what we had. It was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Man had not arrived. This had been going on for thousands and thousands of years. Thousands of years, okay, until man came along. So at that time, they started coming, the wayfarers started coming from Marquesas Islands, from Tahiti. Okay, those were the first ones that came, and they found paradise. They found paradise without question. Perfect weather, water, lots of water, easy to grow their canoe plants that they brought with them because they didn't know where they were going to end up. Actually, they did not know where they were going to end up, but a lot of them came. A lot of them didn't make it in those canoes, but a lot of them came. They brought with them their gods and their goddesses. They brought with them all kinds of plants. They brought little pigs. They brought chickens. They brought rats. Didn't need those, but they came along. But they brought a whole new way of life to the islands. And they brought a very strict social system, very, very strict social system, which worked for about 400 or 500 years in the islands. And then it was stopped. But that's a long story. I'm not going to go into that today. But this strict kapu system, kapu means don't do that. Don't go there. If you see a sign that says kapu, stay away. Okay? You'll see them on some of the temples, or the heiaus they're called. In Hawaii, it will say kapu, meaning don't go on the temple. Okay? And just follow that rule. And then came the big ships. Captain Cook was supposedly the first Westerner that landed in Hawaii, and he landed first. He came on the island in Kauai, and then later he came onto the Big Island. And on that trip, he didn't leave. No, he didn't leave that trip. If you know the history of Captain Cook, excellent seaman, no question about it. He charted most of the world. And when he got to Hawaii, well, they had a little skirmish there. And again, that's a long story, which I can't get too much into, but he's still there. Well, part of him, anyway. So also, following Captain Cook, nobody came for about 50 years after Captain Cook. It took a while, because they didn't want to stay to be able to get back on their ship. And so what started coming were clipper ships and the whalers. The whalers did not come to hunt whales in Hawaii. They came to fix their ships, they came to relax, they came to drink some rum, and they then left to go hunt the whales where they're the biggest. And where are they the biggest? Alaska. Coming out of Alaska. That's when they eat before they come to Hawaii. Again, more stories on that. But the whalers were very, very, I don't want to say popular in Hawaii, but they definitely changed a lot of Hawaii when they came. And they brought their gods and their goddesses and built their churches and built their temples. We have the Valley of the Temples on the north shore of Oahu, which is the island, the first island we're going to go to. Beautiful area. If you've not gone across the island of Oahu, please do it on this trip, because the other side is like a whole different world. And one of the places there is the Valley of the Temples. And I believe one of our cruise excursions will have that included, is the Valley of the Temples. It has all different religions in there. all different. And they're all spectacular. But also came along at that time was King Sugar. King Sugar, cane sugar, okay? And it started on Kauai and went all over every island, and it became the major crop in Hawaii. Any empty land was cleared for growing sugar cane. And they called it King Sugar, okay? But the Hawaiians didn't really want to work in the fields. It's like, why? I have the fish, I have my bananas, I have a place to live. Why do I want to work in the fields? Well, don't you want more? Not particularly. Okay, well, then we're going to bring in people from all over the world. And they brought in people from pretty much every country that you can think of. In particular, the Philippines, Japan, China, Europe, Germany. They came from all over to work in the cane fields or to be the people in charge of the cane fields, okay? So most of the cane fields were owned by the missionaries, because the missionaries came before the cane grew, right? The next thing that came was pineapple. In fact, the island of Lanai was called the Pineapple Island, because that's all they grew. The whole island was covered with pineapple, okay? Well, those days are past. We no longer have those big plantations, okay? The end really happened in the 90s when a couple of things happened. The amount that people got paid went up for working in the cane fields, and it became too expensive to grow the cane, the sugar cane, or the pineapples in Hawaii. The land was more valuable for places to live, okay? So, all of that closed down. A whole, like 100 years of having had this got closed down. You aren't gonna see these big cane trucks anymore. No, they're gone. They're gone now. However, Dole pineapple is still there. They have a small kind of plantation, and they raise a number of different kinds of pineapple, which is very lovely, and they have a place that you can visit on the north shore of Oahu. Again, many things to see and do on the island of Oahu. Well, after the cane came, then people started coming in steamships in the 1860s. All this kind of happened at the same time. Oh, let's go visit Hawaii. And a round trip ticket from Hawaii to San Francisco was $125, including your food. So there you go. However, when you got to Hawaii, there was no hotels. There was no place to stay. So some people thought, oh, well, we'll just drain the swamp, because Waikiki was a swamp. All the water coming off the mountains just came through that area, and it was mud and swamp and like that. And so somebody says, well, we're gonna dig a ditch, and that's the alawai. The alawai is the channel where all the water got channeled from the mountains and comes out at the ocean. And they brought in sand from the other islands or the other beaches, and they built the first hotel, which is the Surfrider, Moana Surfrider. It is still there, and it is a fabulous hotel. Fabulous hotel. It is still there, and so is the other one that was built at the same time, which is the Pink Lady. Pink Lady, yep. That's a Royal Hawaiian, and it is there also. They are beautiful to walk through. They have gorgeous gardens. They have very nice restaurants, whatever you'd like to do there. It's wonderful. The U.S. military presence is on every island. Every island. So you will find something, particularly on Honolulu, on the island of Oahu, has quite a bit military on there. As you know, Pearl Harbor is there. And of course, December 7th, 1941 was a day of infamy that happened when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. And there is lots and lots of history there, lots of history there. And that World War II, that's when we started being in the war, the US, that changed Hawaii forever, forever. For one thing, we had a lot of people come who decided, wow, this is a pretty good place to live. I think we'll live here. And they moved, okay? Pearl Harbor today has the Arizona Memorial. This is a memorial across the sunken Arizona, you see in the picture. It is a very sacred place in Hawaii. And right at the point of it is the Mighty Mo, the Missouri. The Missouri was where the end of the war happened, and the table that was signed, the table they used to sign the surrender with Japan is there on the Mighty Mo. It is a wonderful tour to go through the Mighty Mo if you want to do that, the Missouri. So the signing happened in Japan. However, the Mighty Mo, after it was through doing its work, ended up to be down in Pearl Harbor, so that we had the beginning of the war and the end of the war there. The museums and everything else that are at Pearl Harbor are fantastic. It is a national park, and they have wonderful, wonderful displays there. Plus, of course, they have the little boat that will take you out to the Arizona. They only have 1,400 people that go out every day to the Arizona. So when you have 1 million people there as visitors, it's difficult to get a ticket to go out there. If you have not gotten a ticket, you could come and see me at the end. Not that I have the tickets, because I don't, but I can tell you maybe some ways that you can get a ticket. Okay? And in 1959, Hawaii became a state. Some people thought it was not a good idea, and a lot of people thought it was. And so it became a state in 1959, and it became the 50th state in the United States of America. So when you're in Hawaii and you say, oh, I'm from the States, no, you are in a state, you see. So you gotta watch when you say that, because they go, we are a state, we're part of the US. A long way away from the mainland of the US, but you can say, oh, I'm from the mainland, right? From the mainland. So a lot of people are very happy that it became a state, no question about it. But again, once it became a state, changed everything. More and more people came to live there, and it got very, very big, very big, okay? Now we get about 10 million visitors a year that come through Honolulu, usually, and then go off to the other islands, the outer islands, we call them. And it grew up pretty fast, pretty fast. So I know when I first came to Hawaii, which is in the 70s, and I came and I was expecting little straw shacks. I was very surprised. I was very surprised at how metropolitan it was, how many people live there, you know. But it all seems to work, and it's all beautiful, and there's lots of gardens and lots of places to go. And like I said, this is on the Honolulu side, this picture. You go across the Pali, you go across that hill, right? And it's totally different on the other side, totally different. So I do encourage you, you're there all day. You're there all day from 7 in the morning to 11 at night. So there's lots of time to actually see a lot more of the island. than just the Honolulu side. So people come to be married, I mentioned that before. Hundreds come to be married there. They queue in line at the churches to get married because there's so many every day, okay? Culture and history is very strong in Hawaii, very, very strong. You'll be able to go to luau's, which are the feasts, the Hawaiian feasts, and taste all the different kinds of food that the Hawaiians have been eating forever and ever and ever, and cooking their meat in a underground oven, okay? Makes it very succulent, very tender. Of course, the hula performances, they'll be all over Honolulu for sure, and probably some on Kauai too. You just have to look for those. And of course, whale watching. Now we're at the end, as I said, of the whale watching, of the whales being in Hawaii. So there are still some around. If you're interested in doing that, you'll probably see some dolphins and some other sea life if you go out in a whale watching tour, okay? And possible viewing if you are looking specifically because you want to find turtles, because we have lots of turtles too. Both islands will have lots of turtles. Any sandy beach with rock outcroppings, because they like to eat the algae off the rocks, okay? That's where you're gonna see them. Monk seals, as I said, are just giving birth now, and so every once in a while, they come up on the Honolulu and on the North Shore, on the other side of the island of Honolulu, they come up there too. Just be careful. Dolphins are there all the time, so if you take a sunset cruise out of Honolulu, lovely. You can take a dinner cruise or just take a booze cruise and go out for the sunset. Sunsets are spectacular. Snorkeling is great on both islands that you're going to be going to. And of course the surfers, you know, lots of those around too. So lots of those. You'll see quite a few in Honolulu and also on the other side of the island. Okay, scenic landscapes everywhere. Waimea Canyon is on the island of Kauai. It is beautiful. It's very similar to the canyon in Arizona, the Grand Canyon. However, the Grand Canyon is just a little bigger, quite a bit bigger, and not as green as the one in Hawaii. But they were built geologically about the same time. About the same time. Interesting, huh? Of course, they come for the thrills. Surfing in Hawaii is one of the biggest sports, events, particularly in the wintertime. That's when where we get the big waves from, by the way. People don't maybe understand that. Our waves can be up to 70 feet high for surfing. Where do they come from? Alaska. They start as storms in Alaska, and they work their way across the ocean, and the first thing they hit is us, is Hawaii. So we have spectacular surfing going on there. Hidden places, there are many beaches you can go to and places that you can find that nobody else is in. Nobody else, still can do that, yep. Beautiful views. This is the Valley of the Kings, Waipio Valley. This is where King Kamehameha was brought up to be a warrior. The waterfalls, of course, all over, spectacular. And the volcanoes. Now, Kilauea is erupting right now, and I will show you more pictures of it throughout the week and let you know how she's doing. She's been erupting actually since Christmas, and she stops for a few days and then starts, and then stops, starts. So we had 16 of those so far. The 17th one started yesterday, and now we're starting to get these huge fountains. Last week, the fountain was over 1,000 feet tall. I mean, it's just huge. You are in, just gonna say this, you are in Oahu all day. You could fly over and fly back again if you were so inclined that you had to see an erupting volcano. As we get closer, I will let you know if it's still going when we're about to be there. Because what happens is it goes for 3 or 4 days and then it stops. And then it stops for 3 or 4 days and then it starts again, okay? So right now they're on the 17th eruption that's going on. And that's 3 miles from my house. You go, what? Yeah. Yeah, we live on top of Kilauea volcano. Yes, we do, and I will talk more about that too. But we also have stunning sunsets. Yes, beautiful, beautiful sunsets, and we have colorful wildlife. Yeah, particularly on Kauai, which we're going to, we have chickens. We have a lot of chickens, but nobody can eat the chickens, because they're protected. And during the last hurricane that hit Kauai, which was 1980, the chicken coops all got blown apart and the chickens got out. Well, the chickens mated with some of the, what we call the jungle fowl, so, which are protected. So now all the chickens are protected because we don't know which one is which. So you can't eat them or kill them, okay? And it's great. We're there during the day in Kauai, and so they're very quiet. But if you were there at 2:30 in the morning, it's a very interesting orchestra that goes on all night long with the roosters in Kauai. Yes, there's a lot there. There's a lot there. But they love them, mostly. But mostly, why do people go to Hawaii? Why are you going to Hawaii? Huh? Are you just going to relax? That's why it's different than where you are at home. It's quieter, it's smoother. Now I know you're gonna go to Honolulu, which is a city, and that's, it has its city parts, but it also has its quiet parts and its beautiful beaches. And I do recommend that you get out, get on the ground, walk along the beach, take off your shoes. The water is the same temperature as your body. It's warm, it's lovely along the beach. And just take off your shoes and walk in the water for a while. Walk along the sand. Yeah, it's beautiful. So I want to welcome you to Hawaii, and know that it's about joyfully sharing life together. And you guys will have all kinds of stories and all kinds of things that you're going to talk about when you come back on the ship, okay? And tomorrow I'm going to talk about islands in the sea. Islands in the sea, the Hawaiian Islands, but the way in which the Hawaiian Islands are made are the same way that the Tahitian Islands are made, the same as the Samoan Islands. A little different than the Fiji Islands, but I'll explain that as in Fiji. But it's amazing how these islands came to be and what happens to them and where they disappear to. Okay? So I invite you to that, but I invite you to all my talks. As I said, I'll be here your whole time, and I'll be doing talks throughout the cruise, and even some special speakers are going to be here. Randy's going to be coming up after we get back from Honolulu, and he's going to do a special talk on Pearl Harbor. Okay, something maybe you don't know about Pearl Harbor. And that'll be one of the talks right as soon as we get back on board the next morning or afternoon here in the Princess Theater. But also all the destination talks I'll be doing for the South Seas, and more naturalist talks. I'm going to be doing that also. And I encourage you, please come. So welcome, have a great day, enjoy, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for sticking with us right to the end. I hope you enjoyed that lecture as much as we did.
That's right, it was a good lecture.
Now, keeping with my theme Why are crabs bad at sharing?
Oh, they must be shellfish.
Thanks for watching.
Oh, I got one. I tried to catch some fog on the weekend. Missed.
Now, bye
now.
everyone. Thanks for watching.
We're retired, it's time to cruise. Where will we go next? What will we see? What exciting adventures will we choose? We'll make new friends and make some plans. We'll post videos as we visit new lands. We love you to join us as we sail around in floating hotels of every brand. We're retired and it's time to cruise. Come and join us or watch our YouTubes.